we were on a diet our entire life. And every time you just creep up a little bit, you'll do a diet for a month or two, really strict, whether it be just whole foods or,
Hey, everybody. This is On the Journey. We have Emily and James with us today with Ready, Set, Keto, but they're not really keto anymore. We're going to kind of go over their story and how they got from keto to carnivore and beyond.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming and talking to me.
Thank you for having us. We're super excited to talk to you.
So let's just kind of jump right in.
Okay.
What made you both? Well, actually, my first question is who started the transition into keto? Like, what prompted it and which of the two of you started it?
go ahead.
It kind of just started that we needed to do something. We were both tired and miserable and tired of feeling tired and miserable. And initially it started, our son went to the doctors and he was overweight too. And the doctor said he needs to be on a diet. And he was in tears. I said, Noah, we're going to do this as a family. We need to do something to get healthier as a family. And I came home and I talked to James, and James is like, we've tried to do low carb. We've tried to do keto in the past and it's failed. Like it never worked for us. But then he started to look more into it, which you can take over from there.
Like I say, I had to research this because I kept getting to a point of, I kept trying to blend diets. I kept trying to, everything I knew was like low calorie, low fat. So I was trying to do keto, but I was getting no fuel source because I was having no carbohydrates and no fat. So about 2 weeks in, I literally would always feel like I'm dying and I don't know what to do. So then I started, one of the guys at work was telling me that he followed, a couple of different people, and none of them was Dr. Berry. But once I found Dr. Berry, the skies opened up and I heard the angels and I knew like what I was doing wrong all along.
Right. And he just came to me and he's like, I figured it out. I figured it out. It's not a diet. He's like, it's a lifestyle. We just have to change the way we eat, but we're eating the wrong things.
Yeah, because we were trying to eat chicken and all the other, we were trying to mix with, chicken and vegetables and things like that. And that just wasn't working because it takes a long time to get over the fact that, you've heard that red meat will kill you. But that's what, and bacon's going to kill you.
Right.
But that's what you need in order to get the fat and the fuel or energy that you need.
How long did you guys do the new change of lifestyle keto before you started to think on carnivore?
I think, okay, so I'm gonna go with that because the carnivore thing for us, look, I'm a dork and it sounds cool to say I'm carnivore. That sounded way cooler and more popular than I'm keto. So, we tinkered with it, and this month we're doing beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and we've done carnivore,
Full carnivore.
yeah, for a month, and this is actually our third round with beef, butter, bacon, and eggs.
Right, which was the first round was about a year ago.
Yes.
When we did it the first time. But when we did it the first time a year ago, we realized it was meat first. It should have always been meat first. And then if we ever wanted anything else, like that should have came after. And so we just kind of learned gradually that meat was the winner, right?
Meat is the winner. Absolutely.
How are you guys doing on triple B and E right now?
We initially, right off the rip, we were like, okay, I am so over beef. We were beefed out.
And the problem is that we ate so much beef and bacon and butter and eggs all along,
right,
that it wasn't an issue until you say this is all you can have, and then all of a sudden it's like,
now you can't have chicken wings or or something different.
Oh my gosh, I can't have any a little touch of Thousand Island or anything, just, you know what I mean, to change it up. It was
Right.
just burgers. So like we've actually started like just changing the shape of our burgers in order to try to make it different.
That's creative. Hey, you know what? If it helps, it helps.
Right.
Because Scott and I've been doing triple B and E too, and we have not been the greatest. Because my mom is here and she wants to try the chicken wings, which we did chicken wings for
Right.
Easter.
Yeah.
I told Scott, I'm like, I may not have been 100% with the BB&E or
Mhm.
BB&E, but I said we've been 100% carnivore. So, not going to feel guilty for the chicken wings.
Right. It makes sense. I mean, we've even gone as far as shaping our ground beef into hot dogs.
So that's really a unique idea, but in a good way, just to make
Yeah.
it feel like you're eating something different. That's actually
It
pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
Right.
One night it's 3-pound burgers. The next night it's 3-ounce burgers, smashed thin and crunchy.
And then a big pancake burger.
Yeah. Hey, why not? Which then if you change the shape too, it'd change the texture a little bit, right? Because a thinner burger would make
Yeah.
it more kind of crunchy on the outside.
It
Totally.
does.
And that's my favorite.
How funny. Why? So tell me what other diets or, just like different dietary things you guys have done. So we know keto and carnivore, obviously, right now, but what about before that?
Okay. At one point, we even did where we ate. Oh, we've done all the diets.
Not,
We actually did one time where, we were eating like 300 or 400 calorie meals
mhm.
followed by Taco Bell.
Yeah, which was
Wait, that was a
still
diet?
right
It was
because
our
we would
diet.
eat 100, and it worked. We would eat 100
Oh.
calories every 2 hours for like about 3 or 4 times, which would be like 2 hard-boiled eggs or yogurt or something to that extent 3 times. And then dinner would be, say, 3 or 4 crunchy tacos from Taco Bell, which was like 400 calories.
Well, they were like 170 calories a piece. So we said, and yeah, we were basically on
Right,
a
4 to
1,000.
6.
We were basically on 1,000-calorie diet, and we were under the, it was still the assumption that calories,
Calories in, calories out.
yeah,
Yeah.
which ended up
Calories
in.
are a hard thing though,
It really
because
is.
they are a poor metric of how much energy we're consuming because it depends on what you've eaten before, what you're
Mhm.
like, if you're doing carnivore and you eat 1,000 calories of meat and fat, it's different than 1,000 calories of ice cream if you've been low carb. So that
Right.
it really does. It really
Make a
does.
huge
It's
difference.
just, yeah.
And our calories wasn't the best either. They were literally like, I was taking the orange peanut butter crackers and I was having 3 of them for my 100-calorie meal.
Are you guys starving all the time?
Yes.
Absolutely. And our stomachs like shrunk so much that like 3 crunchy tacos at night felt like a big stretch.
Right.
And
Did you get tired of Taco Bell at some
No.
point?
no,
No.
we just got tired of it. It was just like any other thing that worked for like a month. And then,
Mhm.
a month later, you're actually heavier than where you were when you started.
Yeah.
And,
Was that the craziest diet you guys did, or did you do anything like? 'Cause
That
we all
was-
know I did the white boiled potatoes.
Yeah, I know you've done the potatoes. I've never done anything that crazy. I found myself, I mean, from teenage years or preteen years, really even all the way into adulthood, most of the time I would just tell myself not to eat. And I mentioned this last night that I remember being a very young teenager and writing on my mirror in my bedroom, "Don't eat your fat." Just so every time I would look in the mirror, I would see that. And so I feel like most of my life personally, I've always just thought I need to eat as little as possible if I ever want to get close to not being obese.
we were on a diet our entire life. And every time you just creep up a little bit, you'll do a diet for a month or two, really strict, whether it be just whole foods or, before I met her, I did the Subway diet. I eat a sub,
Right.
every day, a half of one for lunch and a whole one for dinner. And, that stuff's all, you see results immediately. but they're not, it's like you take a week off or something, you just forget about the diet for a few days because you're starving.
Right.
And then you come back and you're higher than you was. And that's just how it's been.
But it was always a diet, and we never looked at it as a lifestyle.
Never.
Mhm.
And I think
Get
that
it.
was the key thing that really turned and clicked when we started keto. Once we learned it's not about the calories and it's not about
There is one other thing that I started not long before keto.
Mhm.
And that was, I did start, once again, I'm a dork. I started the warrior fast.
Oh,
And that was basically a 4-hour eating window and a 20-hour.
but he
Fast.
would eat whatever he wanted. If it was a large pizza and a pint of ice cream.
But it always included Doritos.
this sounds like Scott.
We were just
would be your
hopeless. We knew we
Doritos
needed to
man.
do something. We just
Right.
didn't know what.
Yeah.
We didn't understand. It's almost like it just doesn't work for you. This is how God made you.
Yeah.
Where, if you guys don't mind sharing, where did you start with your weight? Like, keto to where you are now?
Okay. I started at 226 pounds, and I am now 148 pounds.
That is amazing.
I started at 314 pounds and I'm now 203 pounds.
That is amazing.
So 78.
Do you guys feel
and-
like you need to lose any more weight, or you guys feel like you're spot on and we're kind of in the more maintenance
We
mode?
just had this discussion. Initially when we started, I'm like, you know what? I'd like to see 150 on the scale.
Mhm.
And now that I've surpassed it, my smart scale still tells me I'm overweight by 4 pounds. So I kind of don't want my scale to tell me that. So I'm kind of pushing for 5 pounds, and hopefully just from there build more muscle and try to maintain somewhere near there.
My original goal was 210 and I got to 210 and I looked in the mirror and I was like, well, this can't be. I'm at my goal. So then I went down, I said, I want to see Wonderland. I want to see 199. And we were just talking and I said, I just want you to know that regardless, we're still going to do our weigh-ins like we do every Saturday. I have no interest after I get to 199 pounds of losing any more weight. I just want to stay right there while toning everything and strength training. And I want to change my body that way from that point on.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys are like right around the corner from that, like literally right around the corner, which is amazing.
And it feels hard.
I mean, in the beginning, because I don't know you both probably experienced this too. In the beginning, the weight just falls off really easy, but
Mhm.
there's so much to lose. And when you're just that heavy, just moving around with all that weight, it just consumes so much energy to just move.
It does.
That I think that's a big thing. Then as we get smaller, our body just adapts, you know?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what about loose skin? Because I know everybody asked me this, but I was curious. Do you guys have any issues with loose skin?
Absolutely 100%. We actually did a video and I did not want any part of the video showing any of my loose skin because it is something that really bothers me. Even though in my mind, I know it should not bother me because my health is way more important. And kind of last minute when he was ready to go ahead and do a video and share, I said, you know what, if it helps, even if it helps one person not feel so alone, I'm going to share it. I have to. I mean, I felt it in my bones. I needed to share. So definitely I have a lot of loose skin in my belly. I have loose skin in my arms, which you can see that right here. But yeah, definitely I do have loose skin.
And that, because I have it here too, but around my belly button stuff. And that is the real reason why when I get to 199, I want to pause there for a while and I want to tone and I want to give things a chance to catch up because I started doing intermittent fasting in the last 2 months, which broke a couple months stall prior to
Yeah.
that. Since then, I'm down 10 more pounds, almost 11 pounds. And it's like, I'm seeing more loose skin. So I need everything to have a chance to catch up.
Yeah, but it's gonna take time. I mean, we've
It
we've
does.
both been overweight all our lives, so
As far as the other loose skin though, like on my legs, that actually like cut it in half just by doing simple things like squats and things like that. Like,
Mhm.
there is hope, except for the belly button. That's going to be a hard. I don't know how to work out my belly button.
I honestly, I told Scott, I got to the point where I'm like, if I, once I get down there, if it's loose and I can chop it off, I will. And if I can't, it's part of us.
Yes.
It's part of our lives that, we lived overweight and things like that, that it's just, I know it's hard to accept. And I haven't,
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, with my 110 pounds, I have a lot of loose skin. I still have 100 pounds to go. So I'm like, is my belly button going to be touching the ground? Like, I know it's dramatic, but I'm like, is it going to be that bad?
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. Mhm.
How often do you guys work out now?
Okay, so as you lose weight and you start feeling better, it seems like the movement kind of just comes with it. It just it's like I can do this. So we had started initially, we were like, we were going to weight train, but then we were like, maybe we shouldn't weight train because it's kind of stalling our weight loss.
Instant stall.
Because,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah. So in all honesty, we kind of put it on the back burner there as far as weight training, but we would go on walks and I was starting to go walk and then jog because I'd like to get myself to a point where I can jog a full mile, which I've never done in my life. That's just a goal that I have. But then it got cold in winter and I stopped doing that. But I knew I needed to have some kind of movement. So I had started doing DDPY yoga. And that is something I try to do at least 3 times a week, as well as I do sit-ups and I do squats and push-ups every morning. So I try to do that 5 days a week and yoga 3 days a week.
Okay. Me personally, I started the first of the year. I actually started yoga with her at the end of last year, and I realized after about 4 or 5 sessions, this isn't for me. I need my own thing.
He hated it.
That thing had me in positions that hurt every joint. So I started lifting weights, and if I don't do any functional fitness, when I say, if I'm coming in and I'm painting the downstairs, that's a day that I can forgive myself. I don't need to work out that day, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to lift 4 days a week, alternating body parts and things like that. So, but in the past couple of weeks, the functional fitness has definitely taken over, and I haven't needed to because it's spring and everything's beautiful and doing yard work and sweating outside. So
Yeah, this is the perfect time of year, right, to go out and do
It is.
things. How
Right.
about like with your son? How's he
Mhm.
been doing with the keto? Is he doing carnivore with you guys too now?
He definitely keto for
Okay.
him. And he doesn't have any problem. He has expensive taste. He's 12. So he loves a good fatty ribeye
Yeah.
and he loves seafood. He loves the meats,
Mhm.
right? So he's not difficult at all. But he in the past has gotten frustrated because the scale doesn't really move for him. But he's going through puberty. He's growing a lot. And as long as we know that he's eating whole foods,
Mhm.
you know, he's gotten to the point where he does not want to get on the scale. It upsets him. He just wants no part of it. But I still pack him his keto lunch and he still eats whole foods. And I've had a talk with him and asked him, do you still want to stay keto? It's your decision. And he says, well, yeah, why wouldn't I?
Yeah, we've given him, opportunities, even though we
You-
didn't want him to say no. We wanted him to, when he gets frustrated, to say, do you want to try something different or whatever? And, just so he would make the right choice. And he did. But, like we make him chaffles and things like that for bread. So, when he's takes his lunch or whatever, he has like a sausage egg sandwich on chaffle, and,
Mhm.
and we do what we can, because, them other products, we know that they're not
Right.
good. And, it's almost, in a keto bread, there's almost as much carbs, if not the same amount of
Right.
carbs
The keto breads.
as in regular bread. So like,
Mhm.
what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably really, hard for him too, because I was 11 or 12 and, I was gaining weight. My dad was having me step on the scale. So I definitely sympathize with him at getting to the point where it just becomes your enemy. And it makes you feel a lot worse,
It
especially
does.
if things aren't going the way you expect them to. But in
Mhm.
his case, blessing that he's a boy, is hopefully he'll get because my nephew was very kind
Mhm.
of squatty and round. And then once he went through, his couple of years of puberty, God, he's just a tall stick now. So hopefully he'll
Wow.
go through that too, and it won't even matter in the end.
Yeah. And like
And
I said, as long as I know that what we bring home, we don't buy separate foods for him aside from like berries, or
he eats berries. We usually have like yogurt or like a sugar-free Jello or something for him also to
Mhm.
take.
yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, he eats everything. We don't buy anything that's not keto. So
Right.
I'm not gonna say that like our older boy don't bring something in and he might have, tasted chip or something here and there, but
Mhm.
we know what we give him
Yeah.
is good food. So we feel like if he just maintains, with all the hormone changes and everything,
And the
and
growth.
the growing spurt, it's almost like he's grown a foot in the last 4 months.
Yeah.
He's taller than she is now.
Yeah.
Oh, really? How old is he
Yeah.
now?
12.
12. Yeah. Oh, he
Not that
still
I'm
has so
super
much
tall.
growing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy because isn't it? I think it's like men. I think it's they stop growing anywhere from 18 to 20 or something. So he got
Right.
years ahead of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah.
Overall, what health benefits have you guys seen doing keto carnivore?
Okay, I'll start and then I'll let her finish because hers is probably better than me. I used to be the type that fell asleep just as soon as I ate. Not when I was like at lunch at work, but when I came home and dinner time, I was out within a half hour, and that kind of like would cause a little bit of bickering. It's like, you can't even watch anything with me, Um, I was never diagnosed with sleep apnea, but all my life, I know I held my breath in the middle of the night and I would wake up with horrible headaches. Um, yeah, I used to hold my breath and moan. And I remember I'd only lost about 30 or 40 pounds in the beginning. And I realized that I fell asleep on my back, which I would never do because I was almost afraid I would die in my sleep if I fell asleep on my back. I was like the elephant
Okay.
man, like I had to sit up. But I started falling asleep on my back and I would wake up and I'm like, I don't feel like I've been gasping for air all night. My mind is clear. I can do this now. So now I'm a back sleeper just because I haven't
Because
been
you
able,
can.
because I can.
You don't have to worry about suffocating or not waking up the next morning from falling asleep on your back.
Yeah,
Right.
just the whole sleep apnea and waking up with horrible migraines because your brain gets,
Yeah.
you lose oxygen while you're holding your breath all night long.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My blood pressure was always, over 140 over 90. And now it's always, 120 or below over, 75.
Yeah.
My blood pressure has went down.
Mhm.
And my labs, all my cholesterol and everything that everyone says, if you eat meat, you're going to have bad cholesterol. My cholesterol, my triglycerides like cut in half. My good cholesterol went up. My bad cholesterol that they say bad, it stayed the same. So everything as far as me, and another problem we used to have is I didn't have no libido at all because I was asleep on the couch and she was in bed. And that
It makes
changed.
sense.
Had to
Did you
go
ever,
there.
did you ever have, I'm just curious, did you ever have your testosterone checked before and after or anything like that?
No.
He is one and always has been one that he refused to go to the doctor.
I'm gonna die at home.
And I am pretty positive he probably was a pre-diabetic as well as the high blood pressure. Because I remember the one time he did go pre-keto, he was right on the verge of needing high blood pressure medication.
Mhm.
So-
And I never wanted to go to the doctor because all my life, everything I went in for, my leg, my knee hurts, whatever. Oh, you got, arthritis because you're overweight. Everything was you're overweight, everything overweight. So anytime Emily'd be like, you should go to the doctor, I'd be like, okay, I can look in the mirror and say, I'm fat and overweight, and I can just save the copay.
Sad. That's so sad, but so true. So
yeah.
true.
Yeah. So as far as for me, I have always had back problems. I was on anti-inflammatory medication for back spasms. I was on pain medication, which I've not taken any just since starting keto at all. I've not had my back go out on me, not once since we started keto. I also have always had problems with my feet, and I didn't realize how bad they hurt until after we started. And then after we would eat something that was totally off plan, my feet had hurt so bad. And I never realized how bad they hurt until after the fact. It's like, they really hurt this bad all the time. And I didn't realize how bad it was. But the biggest thing that for me is my entire life since I was an infant, I have always had to have tubes in my ears. If my ears did not have tubes in, then I would get constant ear infections. And my ENT would tell me, he said, that basically the tubes in your ears are too small to drain on their own, and you will always have to have tubes in your ears. So they last up to 5 years. So I've had tubes in my ears about 7 or 8 times my entire life. And when I started keto, I had gotten sick. I went to the ENT because I always skipped the doctor and always would go to the ENT because I would have the sinus infections, the ear infections always. And they said, one of the tubes is completely gone out of your ear. The other one was lodged into my eardrum. So they said, we'll have to take that out, and then we'll just have to schedule to get new ones put in. And they took it out and gave me an antibiotic to heal my eardrum. And I never had to go back and get the tubes in my ears. And I've not
Wow.
had a single ear infection, and I've not had a single sinus infection since I've started keto. For the first time in my life, I have not needed them, and my hearing has been completely fine. Pre-keto, James wouldn't talk to me a lot of times because I couldn't hear him.
She couldn't hear. It was, you had to be looking right at her.
Because I would read lips.
And yeah, even with the tubes.
Mhm,
And believe it or not, I am actually a quiet talker
mhm.
in person. And it would actually, to have a conversation with her, I'd have to raise my voice so loud that it would actually make my throat sore.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it's huge for me just because it's something that I've always dealt with my entire life. And that's the only thing that I've ever changed was since keto. That's the only thing that has changed that would fix this.
So the only thing we can think of, it would have to be she had inflammation in her ears.
Right.
That's the only thing that makes sense. And what else doesn't make sense is Noah was born and he had to have tubes, and we didn't realize that he had to have tubes until he got in kindergarten and they were like sounding out words. I mean, he did have them prior, but
Mhm.
then we knew that it fell out when he had it put him behind in reading right in the beginning because he wasn't hearing the sounds
He was
because-
having the same
Mm.
issues.
because his tubes had fell out, and then he had tubes. But now, everyone's had head colds and everything, which normally would have instantly sent them. They'd have to get tubes in order to drain. Noah hasn't even had to have tubes
Right.
since then.
Yeah.
So there's something really related to that. And that
That's really
actually
interesting.
that
Yeah.
blows my mind. Like, who would thought like it affects my ears?
Right.
Wow.
I never had any, as far as I'm one that would go every year to get a physical and whatnot. And I've always been healthy as far as blood sugar and blood work or blood lab work. But my ears was the biggest thing that for me has completely flipped. And I would never, ever go back to the standard American diet just for that alone.
That's a huge improvement, not being able to hear to being able to hear and then not having to deal with chronic ear or sinus infections. I mean, that's a huge improvement.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, that makes
Did
me
you-
happy.
I bet it makes you both very happy. Did you notice any changes going from keto to carnivore, like any slight improvements or anything like that, just switching from one to the other?
I love vegetables. Personally, I have always loved every vegetable. And just switching and then going like anytime I have a vegetable, it's inflammation. Like it's like
yeah.
it does not like me at all.
We
At
know
all.
that most of the vegetables really upset our stomach. Like
Mhm.
we know that.
Right.
We're just stubborn.
Yeah.
I really like salads. Well, it's really just bacon with a little bit of lettuce
Yeah.
and dressing.
Yeah. But of course, I still love vegetables, but I try to do meat first on everything because I know I feel better if I'm eating meat and protein and fat.
We literally have vegetables maybe once a week when we're not doing a carnivore or BBB&E. It's really not,
Right.
it's not like we're sitting and, I don't have anything against vegetables because I know that vegetables were never my problem because I never ate them before.
That's a bold admittance.
Right.
Never ate them before. She'd be like, "What vegetable do we gotta have a vegetable?" I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah.
What are those green things? I don't even know they're
Right.
funny. What other health benefits have you guys seen, or non-health benefits? Things just like, you wouldn't even throw in there. Like, we do the dishes less, so much less. I know that sounds crazy, but we use less dish soap, less paper towels, all this kinds of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do the dishes more because all of our food came in the form of fast food in the past.
Yeah.
Oh,
And now we are almost 95%, we're going to cook at home because, well, first off, anyone, once you start keto carnivore, you'll realize that you cook the best steak for you.
Yeah.
It's so disappointing to go pay $30 or $40 for a good steak dinner. And it's like,
I could have made this better
I could do this in the cast iron better than this.
and cheaper too.
and cheaper.
Absolutely. So yeah, we cook most of our meals, and a lot of times when we don't cook our meals, I mean, it could be stopping and getting roast beef at the store, when we're out and about, and you just
Right.
do the best you can. We're eating deli meat in the car, or we go in Wendy's and just get the burger patties.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever go to Buffalo Wild Wings and do like the naked wings there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, we found a wing that we like better, except for they use bad oils. So it's really disappointing.
Yeah, I just discovered recently that the Buffalo Wild Wings ones are they're cooked in beef tallow.
Yes.
Because I I don't know if you guys, but I have instant indigestion with any kind of seed oils.
Yeah.
So what I have discovered is I make a amazing buffalo sauce. Told Scott, because we've gotten him to go a few times, but I'm like, if we have to go somewhere like with someone to eat, like I'm 100% putting that in a jar and I'm taking that with me to the store or to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I will eat my homemade sauce in Buffalo Wild Wings, unembarrassed.
I love them just naked.
But even, when you think you're doing good and you get just the dry spice or whatever, the seasonings,
It still
That
has
has-
bad ingredients.
that has maltodextrin in it. And for me, that's kind of, I don't have a whole lot of things. The vegetable oils are something that's a no-go for me.
seed oils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maltodextrin, MSG, there's a few things, if I'm going to get kicked out of ketosis, it's not going to be over maltodextrin.
Yeah. MSG always would make me drink gallons of water. I don't know about you guys, but even, I discovered the hard way there are dry spices. So I bought some of the like desert heat online. They actually, I think I bought them off Amazon. They actually put seed oil in the dry rub.
I know. I did the same thing with the salt and vinegar seasoning.
So disappointing. I was like, why would you put seed oil in dry rub?
Yeah. Why is there
Exactly.
oil in my salt?
Yes. Right.
or sugar in my sauce.
And I don't know how you make your wing sauce, but we can make Frank's Red Hot or Texas Pete with butter. It's amazing.
Yeah.
If you guys have not tried my recipe, you got to do it. It's Frank's, so it uses the original because you can't use any of the others. They have crap in them. It's Frank's butter, malt vinegar. Okay, do not use white vinegar. The malt vinegar will change your freaking life.
I love vinegar.
A little bit of
So
cayenne,
love
a little bit of
that.
garlic powder. Oh, the best. It literally, my mom does
sounds
not like
good.
chicken wings really. Scott had to take them away from her. She's like eating her 17th one because they're small. And she's like, Scott had to like move the plate from her because she kept eating them.
Right.
Anyways, try it. It's amazing. It is so good. So good.
We'll have to next month.
Because I love malt vinegar.
Yes. I do too. What advice would you give for other carnivore parents, keto parents to help transition their kids over, or, just how to help them help their kids with it?
I guess we were
kind of the rip
kind
the
of-
Band-Aid off.
Yeah, we were kind of mean because
Yeah.
because we had to get rid of stuff because otherwise, together we're good. Like we're good together. But like if she falls asleep and I'd wake up at 11, if there was anything in the house in the beginning, I would eat it. I'm not gonna lie. And just eat it before it happens. We ditched everything.
We went through every cabinet and every part of the refrigerator, and we just took everything out and gave it away. My dad would come over, we'd send over things with him. One of our kids that does not live at home, we sent bags of food home for him and his girlfriend. And anybody who came over, we're like, take this
Take
flour,
something.
take this sugar, take this
We
pasta.
had 40-pound bags of rice.
Yeah, we did.
It's like, here, take this.
Yeah, we were rice eaters for sure. And we gave away a lot.
Do you think that helped a lot? Like kind of the whole out of sight, out of mind, having it out of your guys' faces and his
100%.
and
Yeah.
Noah's.
100%.
Now, I will say that one of the bad habits that we had in the beginning was
When we first started.
we used to have a competition. Whoever lost the most weight got to pick where we went out, and we had a cheat meal every single week for
We
like
did.
the first couple months. We didn't know any better. You know what I mean? It was just, it was a reward, and then it got less and less
It was like, why are we doing this? We feel like crap after we eat this.
and less. Yes.
And yeah,
And then when we started our channel, we'd stopped doing that. It got more into, it became a true lifestyle. It was kind of, we wanted to talk to people about keto, but nobody's having it. It's like, well, we got to talk to somebody. So let's start a channel. And here we are. We're still talking about keto.
but we love it.
I got the shirt.
Yeah, I actually really like that. I genuinely, how do I say this? If I didn't have to do carnivore, I wouldn't, in the sense of, but I have, autoimmune stuff. And I really think keto is excellent for a lot of people who don't have problems with the vegetables or even, some of the like lower carb fruits, the berries and stuff. So I think it's an excellent conversation. And I think it's a good bridge if someone does need to go carnivore, going through keto and then carnivore, and it's like not this like huge shock to their system.
Right.
Correct.
Right. And
We feel like when we do carnivore or BBBE, and then when we go back to
We feel like we're
keto,
cheating.
yeah, we feel like we're cheating. Like this, it's like,
Oh, I'm having a salad.
oh, I mean, here's a strawberry with, heavy cream, whipped cream,
Yeah.
and you feel like you're cheating, but you're not.
But it feels that way for sure.
Once you cut all the crap out, it does. It's like, when it used to be like, oh, I'm cheating by eating, Oreos. And it's like, if you eat something, I made some broccoli cheese soup for my mom because she's doing ketovore while she's here. I had a
Right.
spoonful of it and I was like, oh man, this is like eating a piece of cake, isn't it? Having a bite of broccoli cheese soup.
Yes. 100%.
And we could totally do carnivore, but the thing is,
I have a few things personally, which is olives, spicy pickles, and avocado. I can't help it.
if we say we're keto and we do carnivore, nobody has to know. It's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, no.
it's not like we fail if we have a pickle, or we don't have people, like a lot of the carnivore channels, people's coffee is way too big of a discussion.
Yeah,
It is a huge discussion.
it really
A lot
is
of
a
people are
big
like, you're not.
discussion.
They'll
Yeah.
say to me, you're not carnivore, you use spices. I'm like, yeah, I'm
Exactly.
99% of what I eat is meat. So, let's not split hairs. But I do think I like ketovore because it is oscillating between carnivore to keto. Like
Right.
with you guys, like with the pickles, I love olives. None of that, all the oxalates and stuff with the autoimmune doesn't agree with me. But if you can do it and enjoy it, I say do it because, if it does well for you, who is someone else to say what works for your body? Because you know how it feels.
And,
Exactly.
when we kind of did a transition in the beginning, what I would do was I would be full carnivore Monday through Friday, and then keto on the weekends, and that felt like a cheat.
It did.
And when I say full keto, I mean early on we started counting total carbs, so there's no net carbs with us. Total carbs. So like if you get a bar, one of them keto bars or a cookie or something, it's like,
like,
14 or 15 carbs. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote. You get one cookie and nothing else pretty much the rest of the day.
Pretty much.
That's it. You're down to all you get's meat after that.
Right.
So, we've been there's been a lot of times where I've thought maybe we should just call ourselves carnivore. But if we call ourselves keto and we do carnivore, no harm.
No.
But if we're carnivore and then we decide to do keto, now we
started our channel keto, so we're just keto.
Honestly, I think you guys fall under ketovore because then you have that room that you can like oscillate left, right, and whatever is happening. Because thinking of it as a way of life is, as you said before, key. It just switches from I'm just going to do this temporarily, and then the second I get off this diet, I'm going to go eat a bag of Oreos. Like that kind of thing completely goes away. And if you physically do great with pickles, olives, salads, whatever the heck it is, then why keep yourself bound into such a narrow space? So
we could never go back. I always say that I know too much. I can't go back. You can't unsee what you've seen and unfeel how you feel when you go back and you have something.
Very true. Very true. What would be your number one piece of advice to give to new keto or ketovore, carnivore people when, let's say, they're on a standard American diet and they're wanting to switch? What would be your number one piece of advice?
We have opposing advice for this. James is very
we'll take one from both of you.
Yes. He's very rip the Band-Aid off, get rid of everything out of your house and jump in with both feet.
Yeah, I would say I would tell someone beef, butter, bacon, eggs are carnivore for the first couple of weeks. Let's just do it, because if you play around, you know what I mean?
Whereas I'm the opposite. I feel like even though it might be frowned upon by other people when we started, we did not do the cleanest way, but I feel like we've always allowed room to grow. We were never so far in where we weren't willing to learn and continue learning throughout the entire journey. So I think starting out, if what keeps you under your total carbs is to have whatever it is, whatever treat like thing, vegetables, or okay, I bought this keto cereal or something. If that keeps you keto, eventually you're going to move away from that and want to do better and better. So for me, I think if you do it as a process, but it's going to vary from person to person, you
Yeah.
know. But
I
for
think
me,
that's
I
key.
feel like what we did, having cheat meals on the weekends, I mean, we gradually moved away from that and just continued to learn.
And that all happened the same with the seed oils we started eliminating. You know, it didn't all happen at one time. We got rid of everything in the house, such as rice, breads, crackers, chips.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't, the seed oil sit there. We didn't know anything about that. It was
Right.
just a constant learning. It's like, oh, this is bad. Well, then that's got to go. And
Yeah.
then you just kind of, you know, you gradually do what you know. I mean,
Mhm.
we would make bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches on keto bread,
Mm-hmm.
and we were having amazing results because when you're eating nothing but Doritos, I mean, you had to.
When you're going from having like 400 carbs a day to even 50 total carbs, that's still an improvement.
A huge
But
improvement.
you know, so for me, I feel like if it takes gradual changes, then that might be the way for you. But I do think jumping in with both feet works for a lot of people too.
Yeah, I could have never have done what I do now. Like I do OMAD almost all the time now. If someone would have told me 2 years ago that you're just going to eat meat, and you're only going to eat one time a day, that would have been way overload. You know, it's something that just happens gradual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree. I think there's a place for both, depending on personality and everything. Because I was 2 feet in, throw everything away, get it out of the house. But I also know that for me, I have an addictive personality in the sense that if I see it, I'm going to eat it. Like I have to eat it to get out of the house, which
Right.
makes zero sense, right?
Yeah. No, I get it. Makes sense.
Thank you guys for talking with me today. What is the best way that people can find your channel and watch you guys and reach you?
We are on YouTube, Ready Set Keto. Well, right now during BBB&E, we're doing like 5 videos a week.
Yeah. We're
Nice.
just sharing our day every other day, just what we're eating and what we're doing to get movement in and getting healthier on our journey.
We do have a Facebook group. Emily posts on
Instagram
regularly, and we're always here.
Awesome. All right, guys, I will have all of those links below in the description if you guys want to follow Emily and James at Ready Set Keto. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your guys' day to listen to their story. And yeah, I appreciate every one of you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.